I guess spring is now undeniably here. The garden, at least mine, is already running amok with weeds. I discovered that there were some great stones in my side yard that had been buried under about 6 inches of soil, so I ran into them, and they're hundreds of pounds. What do I do with these? There may be updates in future weeks. And out beyond my yard, the world is teeming as well with both flowers and weeds. In the past 7 or 8 days, we have seen Buddhists chant in our chapel, and the Syrians meet here last night to talk about the Syrian Revolution. Twice, members of the church went down to Rosa Parks Circle on behalf of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender justice. 2 of my colleagues got photographed by a helicopter in a great big heart shape. Wonderful. The nation seems to be obsessed with Idol's musical and Voices candidational. I will not sing or dance or pontificate for you today, even though that seems to be the surest way to get people's attention. But if you know that I am not going to do that, I know you and the rest of the huddled masses will breathe much freer without any question. But if we truly wish to be free, as we say we are, in the deeper and more lasting sense, we must breathe truth into that freedom. It must be told in a vital way. It must be said amongst the din of competing half-truths and untruths. And that is my task before you every week, to find some truth that I have found or wish to share and give it to you that you may affirm it or deny it, but so that we in pursuit of truth can know that freedom truly does set us free. And so, as I say most every week, I have this rare, precious, and undeniable honor of speaking to you. May these words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be found true in your sight, you, and in the truth of that which is my rock and my Redeemer. I haven't said those words for a few weeks now. We've had a lot of good stuff going on, a lot of special occasions. Easter was the last time I really had a chance to visit with you as your preacher. But Reverence for Life is wonderful. It's one of my favorite Sundays. As I pointed out, nothing makes grown-ups behave better than to have animals alongside them. And then we had wonderful guests and the final sermon from Matthew Cockram. It's been a splendid April. And of course, in May, we have Mother's Day next week. We'll dedicate babies, and we'll have Celebration Sunday when we honor explicitly the gifts you have given to the church over the year, an untold number of hours, precious gifts of time and wisdom and love. And then when soon into June, I should say, our high school seniors will be here, and in their brief moments in this pulpit will render all of us speechless with their capacity to see and understand. But what this all comes down to is the number of plain old ordinary Sundays is very few. Now, I have to admit, I enjoy all of our celebrations and occasions, but a part of me just likes a plain old Sunday. I hope you do too. In all our festivities, I think we can overlook that the ordinary is not just the background for the wonderful and the important, but it deserves its own power, its own honor. On this day in 1527, May the 6th, Swiss guards died protecting Pope Clement V from the army of Charles V. That's what history records of May 6th, but doubtless on that day in Rome, a baby died because that's what happened in those days. And no one notices that because that sort of thing happens all the time. That's what happened on May the 6th in 1527. Who knows what will happen on May the 6th, 2012, but in our celebrity-saturated world, something will be remembered. Some star will have made a fool of him or herself. Some sports hero will have betrayed our expectations. Some candidate will have strayed outside the lines of their coloring books. But that's not what interests me today. It is a text from the biblical book of Ecclesiasticus, from the Apocrypha, which means the also-ran books of the Bible that didn't quite make the cut. But they got collected up anyway. And in this book of Ecclesiasticus reads a beautiful portion, frequently set to music. I'll read only a little bit of it. Let us now praise famous men and our leaders that begat us, leaders of the people by their counsel, such as found out musical tunes and recited verses in writing, that have left a name behind that their praises might be reported. And some there be, which have no memorial, who are perished as though they had never been, and are become as though they were never born. But they were merciful. Their righteousness has not been forgotten. Their glory shall not be blotted out. It's a wonderful passage that I resort to whenever fame passes me by, and the rest of you as well. The opening phrase is famous. Let us now praise famous men, because James Agee and Walker Evans in the 1930s went down to Alabama and interviewed sharecroppers, all of them white in this case, about their life during the Depression. And they published a book with black and white pictures that are heartbreaking in their power and so real as to shudder at the notion that people were living like this. And yet this book gave them dignity. So the title was intended to be ironic. Let us now praise famous men, not these poor unfortunates who come and rise and go, who as though they had never been. Ordinary men, ordinary women, ordinary days, ordinary times. We need to honor them more. And that is my hope this morning. Even though on 1862, on this day, Louis XIV moved his court to Versailles. It was once a hunting lodge and well removed from the rabble of Paris. But I'm sure that not far away on that same day in 1682, a farmer plowed his land like those in Alabama, behind a horse like the man in Alabama, and not knowing if there would be enough to feed his family that year like the man in Alabama.